Hello, I hope I find you well. I'm Hangoma. Today I am joined with the principal tutor again for Zambian Royal Medical University. He is a veteran, I would say. He's been in the system for some time, and we have the beauty of interacting with gray hair. Young people are important, but gray hair is also important because they have the experience and they've been on earth for some time, not only for the sake of knowledge, but wisdom also. I've heard people say these words. I'm a nurse, and I'm delighted to speak on that particular note. I've heard people that say nursing has gone to the dogs. What do they mean? What's happening on the ground? I would like to hear from somebody who has been on the ground, not only here in Zambia, but he has also worked in other places of the world where they practice and where they do nursing. And nursing is a broader thing altogether. So, Mr. Tolosi, for you, sir, who is an ideal nurse? When we speak about a good nurse or a nurse who should be found on the ward or everywhere, who is an ideal nurse? We have heard people that are complaining about what's wrong with nursing. So tell us, who is an ideal nurse, or how should a nurse conduct himself?
Okay, that's not. When we use the word ideal, it becomes
It's a billion
relative.
dollar.
Yes, it's a relative word. But now, when we come to idealness,
Yes.
I'll just narrow it so that it should not become a bigger. It also looks at the foundations or pillars of nursing.
Okay.
So we call them pillars, or there's another term of it has disappeared from my term, but there are three. So they fall under three, which also you find them under Bloom's taxonomy.
Bloom taxonomy.
It's also there, but it falls under three. One, it is cognitive. Two, psychomotor, and three, we have affective domains. So we call them domains.
These domains.
Yeah, so those domains are very important because they can create an idealness.
Okay.
One, you don't want a nurse who deals cognitive, which means their ability to. It involves all their mental activity.
Mental activity. They must be thinking.
Remembering, memory, to be able to think in different ways, different levels of thinking, able to identify situations. It involves a lot of it involves a lot of thinking.
Okay.
And learning. So they will continue to learn. They never say I've reached this point, then I'll
Saturation.
So then they say, okay, now I've reached. Learning is always good to always go into new ways of looking at things, looking at different ways of tackling an issue.
Yeah.
And that one is cognitive. Memory is very important. To understand dangers of certain situations, they involve thinking. So that's thinking. Then the other one is psychomotor, the skills.
Yes.
So these skills, while there are skills in thinking and everything, but also these skills which involves motor, hands-on. We teach those skills. And nurses who are ideal should have skills, because it's the skills that sell the profession itself. Apart from mental skills, you also need physical skills. Otherwise, they might harm patients. They may give wrong medicines. They may do wrong procedures on patients. They may put tubes in the wrong part of the body.
I tell you.
Yes.
So they lack the skills.
So they need to have those skills, yes. Sometimes you find they can be proud to think I can have this skill, but they have to learn the advantages and disadvantages of certain procedures, certain skill, and what you can do to a patient, and where you can wait, where you can do, and all those skills are very, very fundamental. Unfortunately, in some areas of the world, even nowadays, some nurses are focusing on just getting a certificate without the skills,
the motor.
Yes, the motor skills. That's why we call it an art. While in the cognitive, it goes with the science, the methodological, to do things in a systematic way. We also want to do things in a proper skills. So these skills are very important on how to assess, to plan, implement, and evaluate, which are also both cognitive and also both in what? Skills. Those are fundamental. And once you have a nurse who a patient may almost give up, you find they will intervene together, working together with the other teams. And like I worked in one hospital whereby the people who brought the patient thought it was over. And I was actually in second year as a student that time, and I was on that duty. They disappeared for almost a month.
Okay.
And
Just
to them,
dumped the patient and
yes,
left.
and the patient had a lot of pressure sores and conscious, but the patient recovered.
Due to the skills that these nurses were able
skills
to.
were implemented
Yeah.
there. The doctors were happy to see how they're working with these. It was a very good teamwork. And the patient was fine. He was walking around waiting for the relatives to come. So you can imagine when the relatives came, and then I told them, "Oh, you wait a bit. You go into that private room. We'll come and talk with you." To them, they thought I'm coming to bring the bad
Some sad
news,
news to
to
them.
bring the ward sister and others to come and say, "Okay, this is what has happened." And then when they came, then I brought the patient. The patient was upset with them, so I had to quickly take the patient out. And when they took the patient out, I heard them behind whispering to each other, "What? We are afraid of this hospital. You mean that person recovered?
They have recovered.
Oh my goodness me! No. Yeah." So another said, they pray in this hospital. Others, so they made a lot of things, but it was of the skills people had. The last domain we look at is affective.
Effective domain.
Affective talks about the values and the attitudes. A lot of things which destroy sometimes any profession or nursing is the attitude of those people who are in the profession. The values of profession, it means you talk to ethical principles, which can come with, and the ethical concepts. Nursing has about 4 ethical concepts and about ethical principles. So ethical concepts are solid for nursing only, but ethical principles we share with the doctors,
The doctors and everyone in the
yes.
medical practitioner.
Yes, so those, when they are applied very well, they sell the profession very well. They take you to be able to cope with stress, to be able to relate to the patient
Very well. Because these are human beings.
Yes, it puts the patients in a higher, that they have dignity. Their dignity.
You don't rob them from their
No
dignity.
anything. The privacy is protected. They are respected. You address them very well. And I would encourage a lot of nurses, if they want to be very powerful, is to have social skills of learning languages.
Learning languages.
Nothing a patient can appreciate than to hear somebody addressing them in their own word, their language. And also the society itself, the adaptability of the nurse, that's very important.
I tell you.
Where you have the principle of justice, whereby you respect people, their religion, their social, doesn't matter about their status, but their respect.
But you respect them.
Yes, the principle of protecting the patient's privacy and dignity, that they feel they are still human beings,
regardless of who they are.
Yes, their status, their political influence. So that's why nursing, to be powerful, it should be non-political, non-gathering. It is never into those things, because you might find if you become too political, one day the person you look at is your opponent.
I tell you.
Religion, doesn't matter their religion, they respect it. So that is also it's a calling whereby you are standing above political feuds, people who have status feuds. Them, they look at the humaneness of the human being, and then treat them with all the dignity that they have. I think that's one of the aspects sometimes
missing in some people.
And some patients can be rude, some can be kind, but the nurse should remain that soberness, yes, and that ability to even that will to cry with that hook. In other words, to feel empathy for the person,
client.
Client, and those who are happy, you'll be happy with them, and so like that. Despite how you feel, despite the frustrations, you still convey that to the patient. Some may be rude, some may not like you, but that aspect, attitude of respect, even authority, and work with other teams, to have good relationship with other teams, because the focal point is the well-being of the of the patient.
I tell you.
If the patient is neglected, the nurse should have advocacy to speak on behalf of those patients. And I'm afraid nowadays sometimes nurses are falling short on that area. Why you find sometimes they are rude to the carers, they are rude to the patients, and also to understand culture. We are now living in a complex world. Transcultural nursing is what we are promoting also.
True.
Do not carry your own culture and use it to another different culture. So, for example, I'll give an example in respect. I'll just give this example because I give it to my student.
Okay.
Maybe this patient was Mulenga. His first name is Mulenga Mutale. Mr. Mutale. However, all his life, he has never been called Mulenga. The last time he called Mulenga, maybe he was 20 years old or 18 years old. But ever since, maybe they are calling him, let's say, Bashi Grace. All the time he knows him as Bashi Grace. Because that is a respect in that culture.
Yes.
The father of Grace. And maybe that's the first daughter. So 20 years, 40 years has been called this name. And they come to the unit of the hospital. And then they start calling him Mulenga Mutale.
Where are you?
They're not even saying Va. There was not even Va if you are from Western. Wo. There's no Va. Mutale or nothing. Mulenga Mutale shouting. And then he's wondering there, maybe they're calling somebody else. Until somebody says, are you not the one? Oh, Bashi Mutale. Nobody knows that this is Bashi Grace.
I tell you.
So sometimes, therefore, transcultural nursing or is to ask the patient, how would you like to be addressed? Because that brings respect
and harmony
to the person. Yes. And these are some of the things I'm trying to advise people, those who want to work outside. I told my students, if you go to places like Botswana or maybe the other part in Southern Africa, their names are very important.
The names are key.
Very key. If you do not pronounce the name correctly, you are going to spend another 15 minutes being corrected by the patient.
I tell you.
I don't want to be called, maybe my name is Tsepo. And then you say, you come with a low one, Tsepo. You say, no. My name is Tsepo.
I tell you.
Yes. Or I say, Halalelo, that's my name. So you are going to say Kalalelo. No, you spend a lot of time.
And you're going to waste time.
Time. So the humility is to say, let me pronounce your name properly. Because he says, if you are going to write that one, you are going to treat a wrong patient. This is my name. So that adaptation also, one culture to another, is very important. While the skills remain, but this attitude
is key to maintain.
Yes. So it's very, very important. How can I put it? We were in this foreign country where it was mono-ethnicity. They only speak one language. And I had this person insisting that I should speak that language. And I told them, no, let me take you to Zambia, where there are many languages. They greet like this here, they greet like this here, they greet like this here, they greet like this here. And then I said, in one area they say, Mulishani. Before I could speak, we were talking with this one, what is that, Mulishani? Somebody screamed. It was in a big supermarket. She just screamed from the other end. She just came. What did I just hear you say? I said to this one, I'm saying Mulishani. Can you say it again, please?
So the beauty of...
I haven't heard that language of mine for 8 years since I've been in this country. Please, can you say it again? Oh, Bakalam, can you... Then you could see the tears.
Yes, they roll down.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Because the language is very important. Now you can imagine it's a patient involving different people, different languages, and then you come and address that patient in the language that could make you. You are more like an angel sent from heaven. So I do next, therefore, to summarize, should have a very good intelligence, memory, activities, they understand, use all that you need that intelligence, and then the skills on how to apply, whether it's mental skills, attitude skills, physical skills on the patient. They are very important. They all come to circle. And then the attitude.
I tell you.
Yes, so no rudeness, kindness, all those embodied ones. It's very difficult to find a very good nurse because each country and each society have their own ideal nurses. But there's one on those core values where we agree together. I think that's all I can summarize. I don't know if I've made a mess of what I'm saying.
No,
but at least
that's
or I've
profound.
too much something which
No,
people
no, no,
cannot
it's
achieve.
okay. It's
Yes.
okay. That's very profound. Actually, Nebuchadnezzar needed it when he when he needed to choose from the pool. He wanted people that were intelligent
Yes.
and people that were sober.
Yes.
And he changed their language because he knew that language is key for them to communicate to.
Yes.
So there's a lot, and you have said a lot of things. I appreciate that you came through this particular space today. God bless you. And to those that are listening and those that are watching, we wish you God's blessings and thank you for coming through today. Make a better nest and be a better nest. Blessings.